The Grand Egyptian Museum will allow Egypt to become a major worldwide hub for pharaonic history and a must-visit place for Egyptologists. The site chosen for the gem is only 2 kilometers from the legendary pyramids. With its unique position on the cusp between the past and the present, the Grand Egyptian Museum will just bring you more about ancient artifacts that creates an interactive experience for the visitor, building a bridge between the past and the future.
So right now we are standing in front of the maquette of the whole area, right, including the pyramids.
Yeah.
So you just give us an idea about the museum, about the location, about the structure. We can see it from here.
Yeah, I think first of all, the idea of the project was started 2002 by international competition to select the design of the project, and finally they selected the design to overlook directly to the Giza Plateau and the pyramids. And I think, as we see, there is a direct relation and direct connection between the museum itself and the pyramids Giza Plateau, because from the main entrance, the visitors will be in direct contact and will interact directly with the pyramids, and they will see it through the glass facade of the museum from this area. The total area of the project is about 500,000 square meters. It's a very huge area, and about the construction itself is about the third of this area, and 2/3 of the project about landscape and about the other supplements and other buildings to serve and to do another functions in the project.
So I can see here the museum, the edifice or the facade of the museum,
Yeah.
and we can see. Just give us more an idea, and the gardens, and I think the labs where we have been.
All of this area that we see now, this is the museum itself. The first part from this building is the conference center. Here we will have conference center with a capacity of 1,000 persons. And then this is the atrium, or the entrance, the main entrance of the museum, where the statue of Ramses II, which was in Ramses Square, was located before. It will be here, welcoming all the visitors at the main entrance of the museum. And then this is the building of the museum itself. Start with Tutankhamun galleries, the 2 or 3 sections with the multimedia gallery, and then the grand stairs. This is, it will be inaugurated officially in the partial opening that we are planning to have first, before the entire opening of the whole project.
So the other part, we have the gardens, and it is supposed that we have something else, right?
This is the place where we have now the shooting club of the armed forces, and we have in another plans in the future that we will have all of this area as extension for the project in latest phase, that this area will be special zone for practicing some sports and for organizing events, and it will be space from the museum till the pyramids. And I think it will be very important because it symbolizes a cultural protection for the whole site and Giza Plateau, because it represents something like avoiding any encroachment in the future to have in this area, and will protect the whole site and will adding a new value for the Giza Plateau with its history and its importance. With a huge museum, it will be the most important museum in the world for one civilization, which is ancient Egyptian civilization.
What is the area or the total area of the museum itself?
The total area of the museum itself, as I said, it's about the third of the whole area that we have. So it will be the third of 500,000 square meters. And we have another
everything will
construction.
be linked inside. I'm talking about the Children Museum, the conference
Yeah, the
center.
conference center here.
All
in
is
this
located
area.
in the building.
Yeah, in
related
the building.
To the building,
Yeah,
yes.
and we have another building. This is the administrative building for the staff of the museum, with directors and managers and all of these. And we have some other buildings like the conservation center, which we have here, and it will be connected with tunnel to transfer the pieces and objects after the end of
So
restoration.
we're not going to take it externally, but it's going to be a tunnel between
Yeah,
both areas.
between the GMCC or the Grand Egyptian Museum Conservation Center till the exhibition area. And this is the main idea of the project. We don't have to send our pieces or our objects, our treasures outside the museum and outside the area to be studied or to be scanned or to be transferred. Once we receive the pieces here, it will be only transferred to
So it's a
the
whole
exhibition area.
process.
Yeah, it's a whole
system,
process.
the whole
Here,
process in
yeah,
one place.
yes. We have here all the needed measures, all the needed devices to do the conservation work and to do whatever the objects need.
So just as I was talking, it's the most important part that, yes, Egyptian youth, they are working in this project and they are all working together to present such a huge project.
Yes. I agree, and we are very proud to be a part of this project because it's not easy to attend a very important period of this project. Grand Egyptian Museum is not simple, and I think we are writing a new history to ourselves and to the Egyptian history also. And also, I want to say that we are trying to improve ourselves to be to work here because we know that the responsibility is not easy and it will be very heavy to be the staff of the Grand Egyptian Museum.
The translucent stone facade is one of the key elements that gives a strong iconic status to the Grand Egyptian Museum when viewed from a distance. It makes the distinction of what is inside and what is out. Stretching for a length of 64 meters and rising 24 meters with a width of 85 meters at the bottom, in addition to 17 meters at the top. The grand staircase will create one of the principal chronological themes that will define the storyline of the museum for the visitors. From here, one can say that the technique of the display will change the traditional concept of museums in the whole world.
First of all, I would like to say as the Grand Egyptian Museum will be the most big museum in the world. It will contain several galleries. They will go directly from the prehistoric period until the Greco-Roman period for the ancient Egyptian history. We will have different galleries. First, you will face the statue of Ramses II, which is already in the construction place right now. After that, we will have the atrium and the grand staircase, which is a vertical gallery, goes ascending the stairs. We'll have different huge statues for pharaohs and kings from ancient Egypt to and also architecture elements. And to the right side, we'll have the most important gallery for the museum, which is our masterpiece, the Tutankhamun Gallery. It will be enlarged as 5 times the exhibition of collection of Tutankhamun in the Egyptian Museum in Tahrir right now. And we will have as a scenario for display. This scenario will go as differently from any museum in Egypt right now.
I was just going to ask you about this, the scenario. What do you mean by the scenario exactly? And tell us more about the plan.
We will try to take the visitor in like a story for the ancient Egyptian history containing of different subjects and topics. This scenario will have main areas of interest or main 5 themes. We call it thematic routes because the visitor will have an experience about one topic and will experience it through the different galleries from the prehistory period to the Greco-Roman period. We'll have 5 topics. The first one will talk about the land of Egypt, about the natural of Egypt, resources, materials, about our borders, enemies or friends around Egypt. The second topic will be about kingship and state, the relation between the king and the people of Egypt. The third one will talk about society and work and the different crafts of Egypt during the history. The fourth one will talk about religion because it was the most important thing in Egypt. And the fifth one will talk about evolution of knowledge and some innovations was created in Egypt in ancient times. These topics will be in the important and the main galleries, which are 4. The first one, we call it tray A, B, C, and D. The first one will be about the prehistoric period, the pre-dynastic, Old Kingdom, and first intermediate period. The second one will be constantly about the Middle Kingdom, and the second intermediate, and the third one will be about the New Kingdom, and the fourth one, the third intermediate period, the late period, and the Greco-Roman period.
So it is not about halls as we are used to see in the museums. It is completely different. Yes. It's something like chronological, as if I'm moving upward.
Yes, it's chronologically, and in the same way, it's about topics and themes. For example, if we talked about the Egypt in prehistory periods and how it was divided into north and south and how it was ruled by one king, and after that what happened in the intermediate period, and it was divided into many nomes and places, and after that what happened, and the foreigners came to Egypt, and how the different cultures affected Egypt, and how the ancient Egyptians affected around the world other countries and other cultures. And in the same time we'll try to make a separate idea with the gallery of Tutankhamun, because we have a key message for each gallery. For Tutankhamun, for example, we are trying to unlock the secrets of Tutankhamun, as we used to have the objects as itself in the showcases or in a side of the showroom. But in this time, we will try to make like sound effects, light effects. We will have some audiovisual methods to try to make an atmosphere to help the visitor to feel like he is coming back to the ancient Egyptian times, and he is involved in this history and trying to understand what was happening in these past times.
So it is a life encyclopedia.
Yes, that's right. That's it.
Talking also about the museum and about all pieces to be displayed, and we believe also you have some other interesting things and more to come. So what, from your own point of view, the main surprise that we will see, Tutankhamun, or do we have more?
We have a lot of surprise because we are trying to explore some objects that didn't be displayed before.
So we will see pieces for Tutankhamun that we did not see before, not even in the Egyptian Museum.
Yeah, they were in storerooms and in magazines. We are trying to make them in the restoration building now. They are making some restorations for it to make it more useful for be able to display.
So King Tut will be the star again, dominating here in the Grand Egyptian Museum.
He must be the star. But in the same time, we will also have some surprises in the other colors, and we are trying to have some interactive methods to make the visitor in a relation between him and the object to try to understand any tool or any object, how it was used in ancient Egypt.
I believe the interaction itself is another important part.
Yes, for sure. And I think the designer will help us in displaying the object in an interactive way to give this emotion.
The main idea here is not only the idea of the project, but who is working in this project. They are all Egyptians, all of them are young, and working so hard to prove that the Egyptian youth is capable of performing such a great project, whether in its labs or packing or the archaeologists themselves. There will also be a space for children to learn, share, experience, and create.
Ayman, talking about the Children Museum, and of course, children is one of the most important challenges that we are facing, educating children. And I think the idea of having a part or a section dedicated for the children in a very highly professional way, I think this is something that is really new, not only in Egypt, but in the whole region, maybe in the whole world. So tell us more about the Children Museum.
Children Museum, it's supposed to be that in our priorities. It will be opened during the first phase of the museum, inshallah, and we are willing to targeting children from 0 till 15 years old, as well as their families. The main concept, it will be the Children Museum will be divided into 5 zones. Each zone will target different audience, as well it will offer different programs, educational programs. First zone, it will be related to Grand Egyptian Museum main themes. It will be entitled Archaeological Adventure. Children there will learn about ancient Egypt history, and the new thing that we will do, we will trying to make our exhibits according to the national curriculum. That, for example, when the children will come to our museum, they will find the things they are studying in their school. So it will be the concept, it will be like informal environment of learning. That's what it will be. The main exhibits will be hands-on, so you will find the children playing, learning is fun, as you are saying. It will be our main value. Moreover, the second zone, it will be about Egypt and other cultures, so children will learn about other countries, their traditional, their languages, as well the foreign child can learn about in Egypt, can browse the whole culture, heritage, landscapes and sites from the museum. The third zone will be about STEM. It's the first time to be here in Egypt and a museum presenting science and technology, as well engineering and math. The fourth zone it will be about nursery for toddlers from 0 to till 5. It will be interactive way that keeping them always busy. The last zone it will be the garden where families can enjoy with their childs having fun. As well, right now we will start our outreach programs around the area. We will offer through the academic year different and various of educational programs so children can learn about everything related to Egypt. Yeah.
So you mean you are going to give an idea to the schools, for example, for field trips for the kids, and also an education for those who would like to join as well, talking about the teachers in general.
For sure. In our plan, it's supposed that we will make something like training courses for the educators because it's so important as a teacher to while you have your school group to know how you are going to take them around in a museum. And this is it will be something new here that we are trying to make everything related to the museum. So people should know that museums are for people and about people.
You mentioned something that is really very, very interesting, talking about now you are studying the books of the children. So as to make something, to be in harmony when it comes to the link between the museum and what they are studying. This is something amazing. Tell us more about it.
As I said you that we are looking for make something like a combination between the national Egyptian curriculum. For example, the child when he comes to the museum, he can find that thing is that he already studying. If he is studying about pyramids, when he come, he can learn about pyramids, but as a trip, not in the school. So it's a way, as I said you, it's about informal environment of learning. So it's a process of learning while he's in school. When he came to see it in front of his eyes to hear about an ancient Egyptian architecture, when he learning about engineering in ancient Egypt, when he learning about mummification, when he listen about a lot of fields that ancient.
And you have some activities like the mummification as well.
Yeah. As it's supposed that we'll make the majority of our exhibits hands-on, so children can interact with exhibits. They can play, move as they want, because the whole museum will, all of it will be made of replicas, to not have real artifacts.
What about the STEM? Tell us more about it, because again, this is important when it comes to science, math. Definitely this is interesting, and some people they believe that children will not be interested in, but on the contrary, we can make it in a very simple way, and it can be very interesting for our kids.
Yeah, regarding STEM zone, it will be a zone where children can learn about power, can learn about wind, can learn about electricity. As well, they can figure out their five senses through touching something hot or some, for example. As well, we are also studying the national curriculum, and we have specialists who are helping us in to do this.
But for sure, this cannot be achieved just by one-day trip, right?
Yeah. As I said, we will offer different and various educational programs. Some educational programs that will target STEM zone. So every school which is interested in a certain program can book for this program. It can be for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, as we will plan the education program. So as well, we will offer summer camps. Children can here after they finish their schools or academic year, they can come to the museum for summer camps.
So tell us more about the idea of the summer camps, because I believe many of the parents, they will be interested in this. They will be looking forward as well.
Yeah, we suggested that the museum can have, we can offer to the visitors, because
We are talking about Egyptians and foreigners as well who are living in Egypt.
for Egyptians and foreigners who are living in Egypt, yes. Children can enjoy their time in summer. We'll offer a lot of workshops related to ancient Egyptian crafts. As well, we will offer some things which is can enhance their skills, way of learning. Moreover, we suggested that our museum, it will not be only we inside the museum, we will make something beyond the walls of the museum. So we will go to everywhere around. We'll start from Giza because we were
We will be after our kids everywhere.
yeah, exactly.
The Grand Egyptian Museum is a museum for the third millennium.